The definition of courage is the ability to conquer fear or despair. In the past, we may have been called courageous or strong because we stayed in circumstances that were difficult or nearly unbearable. We may have felt that walking away from family, children, friends, relationships, a job was cowardly or displayed weakness. We may have felt that by holding back our tears, we were stronger people. Yet all the things we may have viewed as weakness are really signs of courage. All the things we believe to be acts of courage were really not courageous at all. If we walked away from difficult or unbearable circumstances, we would be conquering despair. If we cried, we would have been courageous by letting go of our fear, pain, or sadness. Courage doesn't mean putting ourselves in stressful or unpleasant situations. Courage doesn't mean controlling our emotions. Courage is the ability to strengthen ourselves against the fear and despair of life rather than be drowned by it. This came from one of my daily readers. How many fucking times have you told yourself in the last month, just stick with it for longer, it'll get better. Just stay at this job until that bonus comes through. Just keep seeing this person or seeing them less because their family or this friendship I've had since I was in school. And we keep making ourselves endure things, which ends up costing us more. I stayed at corporate far too long because I was like waiting for this like bonus check that they would dangle. Meanwhile, in the fine print, and I can tell you this for any company based in the United States, they do not have to guarantee a bonus. They could take that away at any time, and that's why it's called a bonus. Yet I would hang on for that, hang on for insurance. I'd stay far too long in relationships in hopes that someone would change, in hopes they would see the light, in hopes it'd be different, in hopes I'd be in a different emotional or energetic space to be able to have the strength or the stamina or the energy or whatever to be able to leave or have the conversation. Meanwhile, you end up sinking further and further into an energetic hole and then wonder why you're so exhausted and feel stuck. And it's all comes out of this space of this, like, it's like toxic strength, right? That if we just endure it for longer and we can hold on for longer and have this like high palate for being in unacceptable, damaging, destructive, toxic situations, we shouldn't have to endure that for another fucking minute, another day, another month, another moment whatsoever. And this has to stop. I have a lot more to say on this in this episode, so buckle up. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Let me tell you, this has been a week. Wow. This new moon situation is undeniable with the wackiness, with the whole Microsoft thing going down. That's wild. And then everyone in my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership on Friday, all of them were having crazy stuff, people acting crazy, people getting fired from their jobs, people having to fire clients, betrayals, I mean, just insane, undeniable stuff. And if you're in that category, I want to remind you of something. When we have so much crazy stuff going on at once, this is actually a green flag, not a red flag. But that's how it's easy for us to read it as that. Now I'm even so much further from where I want to be. I thought I was 4 steps ahead, and now it feels like I'm 7 steps back. What's happening is when you are rising, when you are growing, when you are now meant to go to another level, another frequency of abundance, the universe comes in and says, okay, we've got to clean out some gunk that's keeping you at this frequency that you're at in order for you to rise and be an energetic match for your next level and your next level of all the things. So you're wanting to go where you're saying you want to go, which I believe you. But what comes with that is you are going to have to disconnect from outdated beliefs, habits, people, places, things that are past their expiration date that you cannot bring with you on this next level of your journey. Some of these things are easy to let go of. Some of them, it's taken its course, good riddance, but most of them are painful. And what's so beautiful about whatever higher power you believe in, I believe in God, I believe in the universe, I believe in angels. Quite frankly, I believe in a lot of things. Okay, I have a full spiritual support committee. And they will come in and do for you what you might not be able to do for yourself. So I have a habit and a behavior that I still work on where I hold on to people for far too long. I am a loyalist. I'm overly loyal. Even when people have not proven to be fully loyal to me in return, I can get almost lazy. Even something as simple as like who does my eyebrows. Even if I stop liking the job they're doing or it's just not feeling like a right fit, if I've been with that person for so many years, I have a hard time even disconnecting from that. And I know a lot of you can probably relate. And then it just escalates when it comes to friendships, quite frankly, employees. And my first podcast producer, I shared this in the posse. He actually ended up firing me, which is very comical. I needed to fire him a year and a half prior and part ways, but I was so loyal because he was there from the beginning, even though there were plenty of signs that I needed to. I was afraid to. I didn't want to deal with having to find another person. I like created such a story that was going to be so hard to find the right person. And at least I can depend on him. He does get the episodes out. It was like, wow, I was settling. Like that was my criteria for my podcast, my baby, my dream, my vision, how I make a lot of my money. My criteria was, well, I know I can trust him to make sure like the episodes get out. Like what? That's like some of these relationships. I know you guys are in our friendships. Well, I've known them since I was 11. That's not criteria. Or how about this other one? Oh, well, he's a really nice person. He's a good guy. Well, I hope so. Like that is a given. Or I've had employees that I've kept them around, even if they were doing a crappy job. But I'd be like, well, when push comes to shove, I know that they'll show up if there's like a crisis. Well, I hope they would. I'm paying them. You know what I mean? Like we have to really take an inventory of our stuff and we sound absolutely insane. We hang on to stuff and it is what is holding you back. This is what is blocking you from going where you want to go. And it's very difficult to see it just within yourself. Another reason why, if you want to really take your business and your bank account and that brain of yours and multiply it and expand your visibility without burning out, Your move is to make the investment and show the fuck up to the rare opportunity of learning from me live for 2 days here at the beach with my entire team. This is taking the speed train. Yes, you have other options to work with me. Yes, you will get results as long as you show up and you follow through. But you want to put fuel on that and not waste any more time and get there faster. This is the move. This is not a rah rah event. I mean, this is what I wrote on the registration page. And since a lot of you are skimmers, I want to read this to you. There are plenty of rah business networking events where you go and watch a bunch of people speak on stage, get a dose of inspiration, maybe even get pumped full of information and ideas. But then you get home and have no idea how to prioritize, apply, or implement the information into clear, concrete actions to significantly move the needle in your business and grow the damn thing. We've all been there. Am I right or am I right? You do not need more information or even more injections of inspiration. What you need is to learn how to customize and take action on proven growth strategies in order to get the results you desire. Period. End of story. And that's exactly what happens at my ProjectME Mastermind experience, the 2-day event. You can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. At the time of this recording, we're over a third sold out. There is a VIP upgrade option. And I'm letting you know this, and I did not check to see if it's gone. We started with 5 spots for it, where you get to have a private power session with not just me, but my whole team, like my entire team focused on your business and your growth. And on top of it, you get a private session to absolutely shift things that have been blocking the flow of money and your relationship with money with my personal subconscious mindset and energy coach, Brenda Johnston, like in the flesh. Okay. Like on the sand, ocean front, an $80 million house. You're going to crap when you see what I've priced it at. I will never price it at something like this again. I just intuitively went with these numbers. And this entire event is a tax write-off because this is focused on straight up strategy and growth from a very well-known marketing and business strategist. I can't wait for those of you who are going to make that money move. And if you're like, oh, that feels scary, I'm not there yet, and then all your stories start to come into play, well, then I'm glad you're listening to this episode, because I got this idea from having in the last 2 to 3 weeks, various people, strangers on the interwebs, you guys, DMing me and replying to my emails saying, I feel like what I want is so far out of reach. Like I'm starting to doubt it's even possible. It doesn't seem like it's going to be in the cards for me. It's going to work for me. How do I know this is really possible for me? Every variety of it. And I've been there. I am not someone who came out of the womb going, I know that I can have whatever I want in life if I just stick to it. That was not the messaging I got growing up. I mean, I think it's beautiful when people get that messaging. I did not get that. Everything was the opposite. I was someone who I can be highly self-critical. My inner critic can get very loud. I'm a scaredy cat. I'm an overthinker, overanalyzer. I am constantly looking for sources of safety and security, which is the opposite of what is needed for growth. In order to grow, in order to expand in any area of your life, you have to take risk. You have to bet on yourself. You have to do things that your nervous system all feels like are dangerous, irresponsible, crazy, wild, stupid, dreamlike, and you have to take the contrary action to it. I would not be where I'm at today. And anyone who I've coached and anyone who I'm friends with, anyone who I've interviewed, which, there's a lot of interviews you can listen to, that is the common theme. But continuing to say, You want to have freedom level cash. You want to be able to travel when you want, work where you want, work how you want, be able to help other people, do fulfilling work, being able to monetize your gifts, passions, and skills online. You want a podcast, you want a book, you want to be able to do all these things. I believe you. And I know that you want that, but wanting it isn't going to cut it. You can want, you can wish, you can hope, you can pray, you can manifest all you want. But if your actions are not matching a knowing, I know without a doubt this is available for me and I'm going to leave no other option. If you are not willing to get yourself in that energy and stay in there as much as possible, it's not going to work. Any goal of yours. Do you think any of these people who made the Olympics in any category, do you think for a second that they got there because they just wished, hoped, prayed, and manifest? I'm not saying there's not part of that. That's what I call passive manifesting. And that is a thing. But you don't will your way to winning a gold medal. You have to show up and train. They put a lot of money on the line and various coaches and trainers and healers and mindset people. You have to discipline yourself to eat a certain way. You can't go out and party. So you have to discipline yourself in that way. You don't feel like it. You have to show up anyway. I mean, there's a lot that has to happen in order for them to get there. That's why they deserve like the title of Olympian. So you want to be an Olympian of your own life, then you've really got to take a hard look at yourself and go, it feels so far out of reach. You know why it's far out of reach? Because you've been taking half measures and wanting full measured results. And I know some of you are getting maybe a little upset with me right now or going, no, Tiffany, I really am doing all the things. Are you? I know it can feel that way. I used to say this all the time when I started my first business, when I was side hustling and trying to get out of corporate and nothing felt like it was working. And I was like, but I'm doing everything. Look at how hard I'm working. I'm working 12 hours a day. I'm da 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 da. Doing tasks and being busy is not the same as a true profitable business plan. I want you to look at what you're not doing in your life. You know what I didn't do in that first business that would have changed the game for me? It took me 5 years to hire someone who actually knew what the hell they were doing to be able to give me perspective and see the holes in my business. And I was being a cheap ass. I was afraid to spend the money because I thought only types of business people who hire executive coaches or strategists or consultants were like big businesses. Like, who am I to be spending that kind of money? I thought like I had to scrap a do it because that's just what you have to do when you're like a solopreneur, a new entrepreneur, a small business owner. And sure, that is an option, but that's a very costly option. I ended up almost quitting. I ended up in pure exhaustion. I was not happy. I hated my business. I definitely almost quit about 1,000,000 times. And why would I have been able to see what I was missing? I was never an entrepreneur before. How in the hell would I have known what I was doing? When you really sit back and think about it, doesn't make sense. So instead of sitting here focusing on all the things and all the tasks and all the busyness and all the hours and all the posts, all that stuff you're doing, go, okay, let's just be honest, not critical of yourself, but let's take a true assessment as though you're looking at like another business or you're assessing like a friend's business and not even your own. Take the personal out of it. What am I not doing? What am I avoiding doing? A lot of you avoid getting top tier guidance. You'll buy the courses, you'll buy like things that are in like that comfort zone, but you're not going for the top tier guidance. So then you end up spending all this money on these small little things that feel safer to you but they don't really work because either it's not enough to hold you accountable to get you to show up on the days that you don't feel like it and it's hard or that you're spiraling, and you're not getting the highest quality direction and advice and counsel. A lot of you need something that's more straightforward and customized. You're not setting yourself up in that way because you are kind of trying to get away with doing this thing without being uncomfortable. Your palette for being uncomfortable and your ability to take action in spite of being uncomfortable will be the direct correlation of whether or not you're going to have success in any area of your life. To build muscle, resistance is required. So do you think that you could have toned triceps without having even, body resistance, tricep dips, or then going to the gym and doing chest presses or whatever? Like, you cannot build muscle without that. It's no different in any area of your life. Like, you've got to put in the reps, you've got to show up. And do I need to have a fitness coach at this point in my life? Would I have even needed a fitness coach 10 years ago? Absolutely not. I'm an OG gym rat. I've read all the magazines. I know listen, I didn't go to school for it. I know what the hell I'm doing. Okay. But that's not enough. The knowledge isn't enough. Otherwise, I won't show up. I could get injured because I naturally, we all do, take a path of least resistance, and I can get kind of lazy, and maybe I think my form is good, but it's really not because I'm not paying attention to it. And then you're injured, and then you're taken out of the game, and then that comes at a big cost. So it's worth it for me to spend money, even on something I know what the hell I'm doing, just for the accountability that I know I'm going to show up 3 days a week. It's someone who I respect enough where I wouldn't want to blow off. If I started playing games with excuses, he would absolutely say something. And I'm that kind of coach too, right? Like, I'm kind and I'm here for you, but I'm also not going to let you get away with playing small or hiding. And I'm willing to say the hard things. And I say it in a way out of love and kindness, but I'm willing to point out your blind spots. And those are the people I hire. I spend a lot of money, more money than makes even any sense to most people around me, except for people who are as successful as me or further along than me. They would all go, smart move, totally get it. I'm doing the same. But a lot of people would think it's wild. I mean, that I have regular coaches as monthly line items, truly on payroll, so to speak, that is part of my business plan. You know why? I wouldn't show up. Not because I don't love what I do, not because I don't give a shit about you, not because I don't love that what this money has afforded me and the options. I've built my businesses up to a point where truly I don't need to stretch any further. I don't have to. Like, at a certain point, you'll have enough money, especially when you really understand the techniques and strategies I teach and then have them customized to apply them to your business, and you do them. The money part's easy to make, truly, once you have the map and you follow it. The hard part is the accountability. And every one of us is different on what holds us accountable to show up in various areas of our life. Some of us, it's easy, right? Like, there's people on the outside that look at me and they go, oh, Tiffany, you're always showing up on video. It's so easy for you. Yes, that is easy for me now. It was not easy for me in the beginning, but that was easier for me than most people. I already have a built up resistance and a muscle for that, and a tolerance for feeling vulnerable. I look fat. I look stupid. My skin's horrible. I flubbed my words from being a former TV newscaster. I mean, literally, if you're really bored, you will be able to find, if you remember that show, America's Funniest Home Videos, I've been on that twice, and they don't have to ask your permission to be on it because they take clips of newscasters from being live and usually you making an ass out of yourself and show those. Thank you so much. Like talk about embarrassing. So I've already, that muscle has a lot of density and a lot of muscle memory. Okay. Some of you are very confident with your writing skills and you think it sounds insane. People in my posse membership, by the way, we have our summer special still going on. So you sign up for the annual membership inside the posse, you get my Nail Your Niche masterclass for free. So people paid well over $500 to have that. You get that for free. That's the only way to get it. You can't buy it separately. Plus, you get my content creation made easy course bundle as well. And then it comes out to being almost like $2 a day to be in the posse for weekly live trainings from me and other special guest experts. So that's designed to take you to about like $0 to $15,000 a month. I'd say that like conservatively, there's people in there making more with the emphasis of making that money online. You can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/projectme posse. And then again, you want to stack the odds. If you want to really make an all-in move and you're like, you know what? I totally hear what you're saying, Tiff. And I have been playing it small. I think I'm not, but I'm really doing all these busy activities because those feel safer to me. When all those activities, you could really cut those by 75% if you just took one of the bigger ones that feels scarier. This is how you make more and work less. Busy is not what's going to make you the bucks, honey. I promise you. I've tried that route. That's what will lead you to burnout. And you want to really do this thing, the move is my ProjectME mastermind experience. There's a reason it sells out every year. It's incredibly special. It brings me to tears when I think about what has happened since last year's mastermind with the attendees. I mean, people have launched $1 million brands. People's podcasts are soaring. We have even someone who I'm going to have on the show who decided to go into a whole nother level of zero fucks and pursued a dream of running for political office. And she fucking won like a boss. We have people who have launched their public speaking career and are being paid. People who have published books. Just, I could go on and on. Several people who went mega viral and are bringing in some coin online. But they had to take the move that was a big move. You're taking a lot of these small and medium moves and really hoping that those are going to get you where you want to go. But all those are doing is keeping you busy, draining your energy, causing you to be frustrated because you feel like you're exchanging so much and not getting much in return. Where I know I can look at most all your businesses and go, 75% of this is vanity shit, nice to have shit, not important shit. This is what you need to do. It really comes down to focusing on three things, especially to get you to, I would say, $500,000 a year consistently. So that's about, what is that? 40, 50 grand a month. And then I would say to get to $1 million a year, to about like 100,000 a month. I would say it's putting fuel on those three things. It's not doing more things. It's just doing them in a heightened way. And I'm not trying to be evasive here. Obviously, it's way too much to teach and explain in a podcast episode, which is why obviously I have coaching programs and I have this experience for you. Truly, I should be charging $10,000 minimum for this and would greatly warrant it. And many people are charging $25,000 for things where you don't even get this shit. You walk away with some motivation and some fucking shitty swag. We don't do shitty swag over here. Okay. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. It's in the description here on Project Me TV on YouTube. And it's also in the link in bio on my TikTok and Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. So just take a look at even if it's something that's in your personal life, like finding a partner and it feels so far out of reach. What are you really doing? You might be going, I'm on the apps and I'm on the dates and I'm putting myself out there. What are you not doing? The deeper healing inner work. Maybe what you need to do is not fucking date and pour into doing inner healing work for an entire year. The scarier stuff, the harder stuff, sometimes the more financially costly stuff. I know the deal. I've done all of it too, consciously and subconsciously. You might have not realized you were doing this until hearing this episode, which is why it's important you listen to someone who's going to give it to you straight. You know, if someone had told me this early on, I would have absolutely made a move. Even like in my first year, I would have gone, that makes so much sense. I get it now. I absolutely need to do this. It's an investment. Otherwise, you're just going to keep spinning your wheels, kicking the can down the road. And that's why a lot of people quit. That's why a lot of people give up, because it feels like it's way too much work for too little in return. And it doesn't have to be. It's all right here for you. I want you to think of this visual. Everything you want is in a universe cloud, okay? Like a big, fluffy white cloud. What you want is there. And you know those days where you know it needs to fucking rain? You know, you can feel the humidity, you can feel it in the atmosphere, but it's like not raining, but it needs to rain. It's almost like an atmosphere constipation. That's what you have going on. It's uncomfortable. There's a lot of pressure. It doesn't feel good. It feels heavy on you. And all of what you want is right there. But yet it feels so far away because you've put yourself in a sense of feeling helpless, feeling stuckness, feeling, oh, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. When the reality is if you don't know what to do and what you're doing isn't working and it's not feeling good, and nothing's going to feel good every day. I don't care what it is you do. You could be a billionaire and have bad days. Then what you need is you need to invest in high quality help. You can't do it alone. That's why I hired recently a concierge health coach, because even though, yes, I'm very familiar of how to navigate the horrendously complicated US medical system. And yes, I have top tier insurance that I pay for. However, I wasn't doing it because it's so heavy and felt like so much work and such a pain in the ass. And I was so resentful for it. And then you get gaslit by a doctor, and I didn't want to deal with it. And so I had to be honest with myself. So what that I have insurance? So what? It should be this way. It should be that way. It shouldn't be this way. We can stay in the shoulds all day long, but I want to take charge and take full ownership of my health. And I want to have what I want, and I want to feel how I want. And I want the longevity and the zest of life that I deserve, and want my outsides to match my insides. Then what big move am I not taking? And it was staring right at me, and I took it. That's why I'm saying I understand you. I tend to do this as well. And it does feel scary. But what is far scarier is living a life with that atmospheric cloud just hanging over you every damn day while you're watching other people delight and play in the beautiful, bright, shining sun. And they have what you want, right? Like, and that's why the universe shows us that. Even though I know it can trigger comparisonitis, it can trigger us to like not feel good, all this stuff. But the reason why you came across me, the reason why you come across some other people is to show you evidence of what's in that cloud for you. It's available for you. In fact, it's sitting right fucking there. It's waiting for you to make the bigger moves, for it to release it to you. And anytime you're feeling that atmospheric pressure that I described, it's because you're not making the moves. You're holding yourself back. You're trying to play it safe. You're taking half measures, wanting full measure results. You're in self will. It ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. If you think about anyone in life, we can go back to the Olympics analogy. Who do you think is more likely to get the gold? The person who's hired the premier A team, maybe had to raise funds for it, maybe had to take a loan out for it, the person who is eating the premier food and not settling for anything less, the person who's putting the most on the line? Or is it the person who is looking for shortcuts, looking for the cheapest, looking for the workaround, looking for the path of least resistance, looking for only the easy way, the person who's only set themselves up where they have coaches that are fine whether they show up or not that day? They have coaches that don't stretch them, where they can show up to a practice and they're maybe at like 80% performance, and their coaches let them get away with it. Oh, I have my period, so I'm not myself today. It's like, okay, well, this could also happen when you're in the Olympic Village and it's time to perform. So you want what you say you want. Like, you have people around you that believe in you so much that they're going to stretch you and they're going to push you. Because to think that we can just do that on our own, I've never met anyone like that. And I have interviewed a lot of people. I've interviewed former presidents, celebrities, business moguls, people from all different backgrounds. I have never met one person who has succeeded on self will alone and by trying to find like the cheap and easy way out. Now, maybe they're shim sham sharam people. Okay. So maybe they're scams. And we've seen those people where it's like an Anna Delphi. Okay. Like, yeah, but we see also what happens to them, right? Like, you see, there are people who do that, but you're someone who really wants, you're not that person, and you want to do it the honest way and in integrity. There are no shortcuts. It's right here for you. It's waiting on you. It's waiting on me, you know? I mean, how those of you have been listening a while, and shout out to my longtime listeners. Thank you for helping make the show top 5 in 57 countries. I'm blown away. One of my favorite entertaining podcasts I listen to is the Canceled podcast. And I have a higher percentage and listener rate than this show. And this show's like mega. And I was like, what? I had no idea. I just found that out this week. I was like, wow, that's incredible. But look what I had to do to get here. Not work myself to the bone. That's not a business strategy. I had to set it up so nothing else was an option but success. There is no option. I showed up, I do the thing, I invest in the thing, I invest in the accountability, I show up regardless, and I'm not dependent on constant external validation. You're dependent on that external validation to keep going, you're fucked, because it's not going to happen. It's just not. Like, I would love that. That's amazing. And I love that you guys take the time to write the reviews. And I love that you shout the show out. And I so appreciate that. And that helps the show grow and it helps it get out to more people. So I really appreciate you doing that. But like, then there's also times when your business revenue is down, when your downloads are off, you know, when you have a launch that didn't do as well as you hoped. Where are you going to get the motivation then if it's all dependent externally? You've got to trust that this is all happening for a divine reason, your greatest good, a divine purpose, and that leave no option. It absolutely will work. It's just not going to work in your exact way, in your exact time frame. And often it's that we need to get out of our own damn way. And I was in my own damn way when it came to my health. I'm a stubborn ass. And it took me a while to get there. And I finally said, you know what? Fuck it. I need help. I'm waving the white flag. I'm in my own way. We're making moves. There is no other option but optimal health, period, end of story. And that's what I deserve. And that's what you deserve is the abundance in all areas of your life. So, what is it that you have not done and that you're not doing, that you're making excuses as to why you can't do it, or I'll wait until blank until I do it? That's the move. That's the thing that you need to do. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. Go make a move right now. At least go look at the information page, projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. And then the summer sale and the posse is projectmewithtiffany.com/projectme posse. All links are in the description here on Project Me TV on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed over here. We have some amazing new episodes coming that you're going to actually want to visually see it. And they're in the link in bio. So follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Project Me with Tiffany. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.